We usually worry and ruminate because we want to avoid some feelings. For example,
Mhm.
we worry about things that we don't want to happen. We want to have a plan to deal with the situation. So at the beginning, usually you have like a feeling or a thought that triggers this process. What happens if my wife break up with me, for example? And you begin to think that it's a very painful thought, and you begin to think and think about that, to make a plan, to think what will happen. And you do that because you want to know if this is going to happen, or you want to have a plan and you don't have the uncertainty. It's like an experiential avoidance strategy. That's a term very popular in ACT. But sometimes the point is that the solution is more the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, when you begin to worry a lot for things that you don't know that if they are going to happen, or things that are not controllable for you, and your behavior is more focused on these fears, and you begin to lose a lot of attention to what is really important. For example, to do things to maintain the relationship with your wife, or to be more kind to her, to him, and so on.
Yeah.
Rumination is more or less the same, but people usually try to understand why things happen, things that
Mhm.
are important for them. That I, for example, didn't pass an exam and I need to know why, why.
Mhm.
And I begin to think a lot about that. But sometimes we don't have enough information to be sure why I didn't pass the exam. So it's very easy to focus more on responding questions that don't have a response, actually, and to increase the suffering, because worrying and rumination usually increase the suffering. So you engage in worrying and rumination because you want to avoid those triggering thoughts, but usually you get the opposite thing. But you are doing that because it makes sense to be prepared for the future, makes sense to try to understand why the things happened. But for many people, the things is going in the opposite direction. So you get more suffering. And when you get more suffering, people usually engage in other experiential avoidance strategies. So you are full of thoughts. You don't want to think more for more time after 1 hour, 2 hours of worrying and rumination. For example, engage in drinking alcohol or self-harming or whatever other avoidance strategy.